Hello everyone, welcome back. Friends, in our last lecture we had started something about the water pollution. So if you remember very clearly, we have started how the water pollution is being caused. That means we have studied the source of water. Okay. Next we have studied the sources of water pollution. Now these both are very different concepts. And the third very different concept which we have seen is the causes of water. Today we are going to try and understand the effects of water pollution. Of course, these effects are on, need not to tell, on environment and the human life. So we have to study both these concepts very clearly, and then we are going to try and understand what are the preventive measures. Of course, these are very basic preventive measures, but one should know about it because these are the frequently asked questions in your examination. So let's start with what do you mean by effects of water pollution on environment and lives. So we are very having a clear idea that we are developing. That means the cities are developing, getting into converted into huge industrial areas, and henceforth it is a highly polluted areas being created. So these are the causes of having each and every kind of pollutant. So we can go with land pollutant, that is urbanization. We can go with water pollutant, it is because of urbanization. Similarly, when highly polluted chemicals are being released out or directly dumped into the water surface area, it will cause a direct effect. Now it will cause a defect on land also, and it will cause an effect on water also. So the directly dumped garbages by maybe called as individuals, by personal sources, or maybe industrial areas which release out harmful chemicals which are legally or illegally, okay, in both the forms, dumped into the areas of industries, which causes a effect on the water because of close by areas, especially in close by areas, for example maybe a health centers or schools, or maybe you can call it as marketplaces or farm areas, which will directly cause an effect. It will have an effect on the human system also. Now, this human system effect is a part. But let's go with ecological system, because ecologically we are connected with the environment. So we have a direct connection with the environment, and this direct connection with the environment is a effect on the aquatic system, the food chains, the health system, ecosystems, and of course the economic cost also. So it will directly affect on the human life also. Let's go with the very first part, that is called as the aquatic or harmful effect of water pollution on the aquatic animals. Now there is a death of the aquatic animals. That means the water pollution directly kills the organism which is depending completely on the water for their life. Now this death can be seen in the animals or aquatic systems like fish, crab, birds, dolphins, seagulls. At some point it can also be seen in the turtles and mammals also, which completely depend upon the water for their food products. How this this water pollution is a complete dependency of the animals which are aquatic. That means these animals depend on their food products for their life on the water only. If the pollutants are being mixed into this water, the animal will inhale or intake directly the pollutant water, which is completely poisoned with harmful chemicals and metallic products, heavy metallic products. And this marine society or marine property will be completely in danger. Now this water pollution has a damage on the not only on the aquatic water body, but it also passes on from the food chain, through the process of food chain at a higher level also. So this causes an disruption, or this causes an harmful effect on the higher stage also. So if for example consider that a fish is completely depending on the water body, like flora and fauna of the aquatic system, this fish will intake the food material which is present in the water body. If this food material is polluted because of the harmful chemicals or metals, it will directly pass into the fish. This fish will again then will be intaken by the human system or maybe by the higher or larger fish. So you can find that from a smaller part, this process of passing of chemical products which is harmful is taking place from a lower state to a higher state also. And because we know that the harmful chemicals get deposited easily into your cellular products, it will not get easily removed out. Henceforth, there is a larger damage on the coral seas also. That means the sea corals are completely getting affected. There is a death of the sea corals can be found. Now, this will affect on the life of the food chain, not depending on only aquatic life, but partially depending on the aquatic life. That means we people, or maybe you can say the animals, or maybe birds, which are depending on as a food product for on the aquatic system. For example, you can consider the birds or eagles which depend upon the fishes for their food product, or maybe you can say the bear which depend upon the fish for their food product, or also the human being which depend upon the aquatic organism like fish, crab, etc. or as a food product will directly have an impact because of the deposition of the lead and the cadmium which is present on it within the food chain, which is there within the fishes. Because of this consumption process, like we have seen in the food chain, that the fish will consume the sea algae, and if the sea algae is being deposited with the lead and cadmium like products, it will directly pass into the small fish, then pass into the larger fish, then can be passed into maybe a human or maybe any other organism which depend upon this larger fish for their food products. So this will pass on. That means there is a disruption of the food chain taking place naturally. The next one is effect on the human health. Now, of course, as we have seen that this will directly cause an effect on the human because there is a deposition of the poisonous material taking place continuously from a lower state to the higher state. This is one part. But second part can be more dangerous because the water which is being consumed, maybe you can use for drinking purposes, or maybe you are using it for any other purposes like household purposes, etc. If this water is in a pollutant form, it will directly cause diseases like cholera, which or like hepatitis, which can have a larger impact on your health also. Okay, so this drinking water which is at a poor quantity will cause a larger effect on the human system. Especially you can find like if you have a local area or local river or a local lake or say pond, if it is being polluted, you can find that people often get suffered from waterborne diseases. That means tuberculosis and cholera are more of the diseases which India is going through, like we suffer through, because we do not have that much good quality of system to control the water pollution. And WHO has estimated around, because of this water pollution, around 5 to 10% of death cases are being reported continuously. Just because of cholera, around 1,20,000 almost of around 1,20,000 people die every day because of just cholera. And cholera is one of the major form of disease which is caused by waterborne diseases. That means it is passed on because of the water, or it is caused because of the water. Next one is the destruction of ecosystem. Now we know that we have seen something like disruption of the food chain. Of course, when there is a disruption of the food chain, there is a breakage or there is a continuous passing of harmful chemicals from one flow to another flow or from one level to another level. There will be a disruption of the ecosystem also. That means people living, interacting at places depending upon completely on this aquatic life will be severely changed. They will affect or they will have a huge impact on the nutrient cycle. There will be a large impact on the aquatic cycle also. The nutrient pollution means a nutrient cycle means a nutrient pollution is being created. That means the water bodies which carry the nutrient will, if have an impact of this pollutant will cause a directly impact on the water bodies like the algae, which are there somewhat in some stated for protection, then fishes, which will of course also have a cutting down or reduction of the oxygen supply. So that is again you can find the negative impact on the water bodies. Then is economic cost, and of course this is the major one, because each and every part, that is death of aquatic animals, of course there will be a need for the cleaning pollution, that means cleaning of these water bodies. Next, the disruption of food chain, that means there is a complete loss of the food chain, there is a complete breakage of the cycle of food chain. And human health, of course, when human health is in problem, of course there is a lot of medicine, and this will directly cause a problem on the cost system. So in turn what we come finally is at the point that economic cost will be more. That means there will be a problem in purification. You have to purify drinking water, the sources of the water should be purified, the fishing sources should be very clear. There is a lot amount of money needed to clear these sources, to purify these sources, and henceforth it is very much important to understand that the whole pollutant system, that means water pollutant system, will cause an indirect effect on the economic cost of the country. So, if you people have understood this idea about how the causes of water pollution, that means whatever we have seen in our last lectures, like animal waste, or maybe urbanization, or chemical use fertilizers, or industrialization, etc., etc., this will cause some of the major effects, and these major effects are completely hampering our ecosystem, our human health, and indirectly on the economic system. Then a question arises as to, can there be any preventive measure for this, and the answer to it is yes. Now these are very basic preventive measures which we people know, but at some point we try and underestimate it. So the very first part is, you do not put on the fat, that means oil content, directly into your cooking sink, because it causes a grease which then directly passes on into a form of pollutant, harmful reactant, because it does not get easily mixed into the water. We know the property of oil and water also, and henceforth it cannot be easily extracted also out. So that is causing a greasy area, or completely distraction of oxygen, cutting down of oxygen will take place if it is being passed from your sink to the water source. Next one, do not dispose your household chemicals. Like I've said earlier also, that we use basically many chemicals in our household. For example, we use many different detergents, soaps, or like chemical products for cleaning our house, bathrooms, toilets, kitchen sinks. Now these are the chemicals, and without knowingly we directly dump this into the chemical sink, that is sinks, and it then is carried on from a sewages, that is drainage system, to the water system. Do not flush the medicines. Okay, so the harmful products which are present in the chemicals get easily mixed up with the water, and of course then they cannot be extracted out, and henceforth try not to flush out the chemicals or maybe medicines into your toilet sinks or basin sinks. Do not consider the toilet as your waste basket. So many have an habit of dumping whatever the product are there into the toilet, and that is one of the worst part which takes place, because there is a complete deposition of the harmful chemicals which you dump into the toilet or the sinks. The garbage disposal should be directly not passed on into the water system. So there are of course a proper method systems, like disposing of garbage which is solid, disposing of garbage which is semi-solid, or maybe food products which can be disposed, which are harmful, should be disposed in proper manner. Then you should follow these complete system of garbage disposals. Should not be dumping everything at one place directly into the water sources, because it will finally be coming back to you as a water source. Next one is, try to have a very definite method of using a dishwater and clothing system. So if you are not knowing it, you should have an idea that there are proper measurement methods, and of course testing are done so that the dishwater or the clothing water which is released out, it is being purified and then tried to be released out into the again different source of water. But again the problem occurs over here. So I'm not saying that do not use it, rather I'm saying it use it in a proper manner. Do not flush all things at one places, like all the try to use less chemical products, and then if you are using it, try to dispose these water chemical products at a proper method. For example, if you want to dump some kind of flat tablets which are not now being used or which are being expired right now, you can dump it into the buckets, your waste buckets, rather than dumping into the sinks or toilet systems. Now, this is not possible, but it is one of the method which is being provided to us, that you should use detergents and soap to a minimum level. At present condition, I am saying it is not possible, but yes, of course, if purification methods are used properly, then the use of detergent and soap is also okay. The next and very important, that is use minimum level of pesticides, herbicides. So this is not new to you people. We have been talking about it very frequently, that you try to use organic products, try to use natural products, that is natural pesticides, herbicides and fertilizers, rather than using chemically produced pesticides and herbicides. So I hope you people have understood this concept of what are the effects on the human health and what are the effects on the ecology. So try to remember the ecology more, because ecology will directly impact on the human health. Not only on the human health, it will have an impact on the economic cost of the country also. And we have also seen what are the preventive measures should be taken, so that at least at some part we can control whatever the pollutant is being created because of us. So we will meet in our next lecture and we will try to understand what is the BIS quality standard. Of course, this is not a very huge part to be understood, so I'll just give you a rough idea about it. But in our next lecture, we will try and understand one of the major source, that is what is the treatment method. So we have to understand the treatment methods also. So till we meet for the next lecture, study hard.